Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar, just near the East Lansing border on East Saginaw. If you are looking for a place to just camp out and watch hoops this weekend, or maybe catch MSU hockey at 1:30 on a Thursday, play a little hooky from work, Front 43 and Cask and Company is here for you. Unbelievable place to watch the games. The original Couch and the Rube sponsor, largely because of the experiences we had there early on. If you want to make a reservation, caskandcompany.com. Real simple system there. You just type in what you want, which side you want to be on, Front 43 or Cask and Company. Same great menu and beer selections, but in same distinct, wonderful a modern American Asian menu, but two very distinct vibes. And I think that's important depending on what you're doing there. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Are you raising your voice at me?
That's the taint.
Right now, either you're stuttering or I'm not picking it up because it's a whoa.
What's up, buddy?
I almost had the live read clean, almost stuck to dismount, and I got stuck on the word distinct, and then went the wrong direction with one and had to circle back, and that's what happens.
We heard it.
Yeah, okay.
So do you think you're Adam Sandler or something? Have you seen yourself today? Like, where did you just come from? Like, you guys see Couch. If you're watching on YouTube or whatever, you see the muskox flannel and the hat. But underneath, homeboy's got shorts and sandals on. I go to the bathroom before, like 5 minutes before the show. He comes barreling in, looking like you just came up like from a basketball game or something. Like you're just playing some pickup at the.
So we joked on the show
Park.
previously about how sometimes the choice is whether to do the show or put pants on, right? That was not really, I mean, that was a joke because it's funny, haha, but it's sort of real. Like,
But sandals, dude, you got slides on that are just like.
So here's the deal.
It's downtown Lansing. You might see someone you know, or.
I had a column deadline for 2 p.m., but I know this show is going to go beyond 2 p.m. So I have to finish this A1 column that for a print deadline that I'm. Anyway, it was,
I love how you're like Ernest Hemingway or some shit. Like everything's just always at the
You don't want to cut that short, and that takes as long as it takes. And so when that finished up, and I was, doing some laundry for the trip to D.C., and what I had nearby was sandals and
I respect that
and shorts, and that's what we're wearing.
Because I like I see pictures of Adam Sandler on the street. I mean, yeah, he's a legend. So you can he pretty much just it appears that he just looks at his closet and grabs 3 things that fit. And then goes outside of his house. I just couldn't do that. I don't know.
I parked here right outside the studio, and there's a homeless guy right near my car, just
unhoused.
Unhoused.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
An unhoused guy. And he was, and I'm parallel parked really well, but he was kind of laughing at the whole situation. And then he sees me when I get out, and I just think he felt like, well, I got it. I'm doing better than that guy.
Put $1 in your cup.
What's this ensemble?
I was drinking that.
But I'll tell you what pulls it all together. It's the muskox flannel, as always. It just saves the day. So you're okay, regardless. Want to go basketball shorts and a muskox? That's okay too. Swimwear and a muskox, I've done it. So these are all things you can do.
That.
And if you go to Front 43 and Cask and Company to watch the games, they will not judge you there, whatever you're wearing, watching games. Muskox flannel, shorts, sliders, whatever it might be. We are. I think this can be a fun show. We're going to have Stephen Izzo on here momentarily, and we'll talk Michigan State basketball with him. Then we're going to do some NCAA tournament picks, some MSU hockey and NCAA tournament hockey as well a little later on. Do you want to get Stephen on the phone? For those of you who have not been to Front 43 and Cask Company, and some of you have way back with our live shows there, you've got one side, Ultimate Pub, great vibe. I love the TV setup at Front 43, and then Cask and Company. TV setup around the bar is tremendous. If you're going on a date night, you want to be a little more, night out sort of thing. That's not just there to watch games, but you want the games on. They don't overwhelm you, but they're there everywhere, and you can see Michigan State play. You can see whatever game you want. If you need to, keep the spouse happy with a little something different. That's at Front 43 in Cask and Company. Again, just north of Frandor on East Saginaw near the East Lansing border. Just an absolutely tremendous place to watch the game. And the original Couch to the Roof sponsor, and by supporting them, you are supporting us. Very pleased now to have on the one and only Stephen Izzo, who is, are you on your way to D.C. right now?
I just pulled up to the airport, so we're going to fly out in the next hour or so.
You don't get to fly private anymore, I'm guessing.
I did get on the team plane for this game, so
okay,
we're good.
Okay, good. I didn't know what they cut that off, how that works with family stuff. How different is it to go through this? Like, you went through this as a kid. My first memory of you, I think, was watching your dad explain who Rick Majerus was at the 2012, NCAA tournament and in St. Louis. So you've been through this in all different sorts of ways, and then you're part of the team. How different is it to be back doing it from a fan, former player perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's pretty much the same as when I was a kid. I was always around basketball or went to the practices and stuff like that, so never really have taken this stuff as a vacation just because it is work. But now it's cool because I go to the meetings and, talk to the guys, and you're either cracking jokes or trying to give them help or just trying to be a positive voice in different guys' ears and, have that team bonding still. I feel like I'm on the team, or I feel like a lot of the guys view me as one of their teammates, so that part is really cool.
Do you fear losing that a little? Because you got a lot of guys you played with, but that won't always be the case.
No, it's weird because last year, Jason, Jesse, and Kurt Tang, they all came in with the two twins from Okemos, and I was living in East Lansing and commuting to my job in Grand Rapids. So after practice every day, I'd go to the facility and watch the last hour of practice, and then we'd play pool for 2 hours. And my dad's like, "Who are you playing pool with?" Thinking that I was going to say guys that I played with, and he's like, "The freshmen?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I think they just think that I'm on the team." So that was really cool, and obviously has kept me around. And I think guys just kind of view me as not very mature, but an older brother to them to some degree. So that part, I don't know if it will ever change. And I always, intend to be a part of the program, even when my dad retires or, calls it quits. I want to be around the program as much as possible, and, be someone that can reach out to the next head coach, after wins and losses, and kind of be a soundboard for them when they need to get some things off their chest.
Are you still a sounding board for the players now, like young guys now, or guys you know what it is like to deal with your dad for the first time? And I remember we've had conversations about, being in that locker room, and, that's a sacred space between you and other players, and, you're naturally going to have teammates, who are upset about the coach or whatever like that, and that's just not stuff that leaves there. Do you still give guidance on how to deal with stuff early on, and are you still a sounding board?
Yes, absolutely. I think that a lot of the freshmen, Cam, I love talking to Cam, because Cam, I think when the freshmen came here, they were skeptical. They're like, all right, well, the coach's kid is just going to say stuff back to his dad still, and then, it takes probably 2 weeks of talking to them every day, and they're like, yeah, no, he's a safe space. You can say whatever you want to him. And then, obviously, just with the emotions of the season, there's always ups and downs. So I think I can talk to guys, when they're playing great, and I can also talk to guys when they're not playing great, and kind of get in their head and try to talk them, into some positivity, that rather than them being down on themselves or annoyed with certain things. So I try to stay back, but when I feel like something can actually help or be beneficial, then I go and talk to them a little bit about it.
Is there an example you can share this year with a guy who came to you, or you went to him and was going through it and just tried to help him get on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can share the exact example, but I'll share something similar or close. I sat down and we were talking with a bunch of the guys, and we were just going through kind of what your not roles are, but like as a freshman, you're supposed to get, kind of crapped on a little bit and, bounce back, and you're supposed to be able to, like, you earn your stripes as you get more years, So I think we went down the line, and, there's so many guys that are on staff that have played, and we were talking about how to handle certain things, and everyone's like, you think Steven, like, has a great time with him? And then I was like, hell no. Like, dude, I was in it with you guys for 5 years. Like, I understand how it is as a coach's, or as a player and as a coach's son. But my dad and I had good boundaries on, at home, I'm his kid, and, at the facility and all that, I'm a player. So we never really had anything interfere with that, but there was definitely more we're bringing work home than, I'm being the coach's son at work. But yeah, I just feel that I can, talk to guys and give them a little bit of my experience. And, being there for 5 years, you have a lot of the stories, or some of the guys tell funny stories about me, or I tell stories about different things from when I was playing my freshman year and different things. And everyone they're like, oh yeah, well, he was one of us at one point. He's just older and bald now. So it's been cool though.
I think one of the lessons from your tenure at Michigan State for people is, like, when you have to show up someplace that maybe some people don't think you belong, just don't quit. Like the way you got through that summer, and the puking in the trash cans and all that, because what people don't understand is, like, conditioning for college basketball. I mean, football is intense, but I've got to think in terms of the shape you've got to be in, and the conditioning for college basketball the summer before is unlike anything most people ever go through in their lives, and probably unlike anything you had experienced in your lives before you did it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely intense. There was a lot of puking. There was a lot of questioning yourself, and I mean, I'm the first one to admit, like, I had no business playing there, but I think as I grew, I mean, even my senior year, you could absolutely say he has no business being on the team. But I think my teammates, they see how much work you're putting in the summer, and all the grind you're doing, waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning to go to a lift, and I was always the first one there every single day. I think that gained me a lot of respect, and so as I got older, I was able to say things, and guys kind of took it. But I always admitted, like, yeah, I mean, I was only on a team for my dad, and people want to talk trash on that, or like say that as if it's going to get to me. It's like, I know I'm the first one to know that. Like, I'm not saying that I'm here because I average 50. I'm here because my dad's a coach. But I think that everyone's kind of got a role on the team, and I think that through my years, I was able to be, a good soundboard, as well as just a leader. I never was a captain, but I feel like I had a lot of captain qualities. Just growing up with my dad and knowing what he expected, where I was able to talk to guys and kind of get through to them when, maybe the coaches weren't or struggled to.
For a long time, I think your first early memory, sort of poignant memory, was replacing Cassius Winston on senior day. And then, but there are moments like among the iconic baskets in Michigan State basketball history, I'm not going to say it's Kenny Goins versus Duke or Denzel Valentine on Valentine's Day and all that stuff, but like the shot you hit, the first bucket you hit there, I think it was Rutgers, still stands out to me. Like, what is the moment you remember most?
Honestly, the bucket was cool, and I did text this in a group chat I still am, like, very close with Mike Peterson and my best friend Joey Hauser. Nick Sanders has always been a good buddy of mine, but I said it after Nick's senior day. I said one of the coolest things that I was like, you can take away the bucket. I mean, that was awesome to experience that with, the fans and all that. But I think one of the coolest things was Nick saying that he appreciated me for, taking him under his wing, and that right there showed me, 2 years removed, like, I actually did make a very positive impact on, some of my teammates or the program, where I feel like that continues to today. And I feel like even though I'm 2 years removed, people can still ask me for advice, or I'm still able to talk to people. But I think Nick giving me that compliment was one of the coolest things that, I experienced in my career, and it happened after my career. But being able to look at it from the outside after 2 years of, being in the real working world, that was special to me.
Can you tell people what you're up to right now in the real working world and what it's like being you after college?
Yeah, no, I started working for a sports marketing agency. We do professional golf events. So I worked the Meyer LPGA Classic in Grand Rapids. Been doing that for the last 2 years, or I guess last year, and then this year is my second tournament. But yeah, no, it's been great. It's been an awesome experience, and last year I feel like I was kind of in the dark on a lot of things and just kind of confused just because I was, 5 or 6 months in before the first tournament happened. And then now after having a year, I'm like figuring out like, oh, this is how this got to the tournament, or this is how this got on site. So now my brain's starting to work, and I'm starting to figure out more details on how all those things just showed up magically to the golf course.
Did you think this year's team was going to be really good? I was talking to some of those guys the other day about the first time they played UConn and sort of how that set in motion some conversations and some understandings of things they needed to do when they played that exhibition game out in Hartford. And I really didn't know then. I don't think they did either. I don't think they knew after Colgate. And then obviously it picked up with Arkansas, Kentucky, and all that. Did you think they were going to be really good, and when did you think they were?
Well, last year I went on Chris Castellani's podcast, and he said, where does this team rank? And I said, I think they're the best team I've ever seen in my lifetime. And everyone thought I was crazy. And I wouldn't say that I was going to call, we'd be top 10 most of the season for this year. But I have so much trust in Fears and belief in Fears. I think his leadership is phenomenal, and I think that if he's the point guard, this team can get a lot done throughout the season, throughout March, through whatever. I think his leadership is elite, and I think that all the guys, listen to him, and we got a lot of pieces that either piece together, or, sometimes they say, oh, well, we need a shooting guard, we need this, and we've just been able to figure it out. And I think we've weathered some storms and stuff, and it's all been beneficial. But I think the group of seniors and Fears, I think they got it locked down, and they know how to talk to guys, how to get them motivated. And my dad always says a player-led team is better than a coach-led team, and I think that you see that with the group of guys we got.
So you're in Buffalo, and I'm at a bar in Buffalo, and there pops up Steven Izzo and Mark Dantonio. And Mark is in a poncho, like he's just been on the Maid of the Mist in Niagara Falls, to be interviewed on the local news. And they clearly had no idea who you guys were. Take me through, how did you guys wind up on Buffalo local news in Niagara Falls?
Yeah, that was absurd. So we went to Niagara Falls, and it was cool. I'm not discrediting that. It was miserable. It was rainy. It was cold. The wind is blowing sideways, so the rain. I'm in a poncho, but I'm getting drenched. And then we walked in the visiting room as we were waiting for an Uber, and the group we were with, someone came up to and was like, "Do you guys want to do an interview?" And they were like, "Yeah, we'll do an interview." And then the people that said, "Yeah, we'll do the interview," was like, "Oh no, these two will do the interview." Like, this is a former football coach and this is a basketball coach's son, and I'm pretty sure they were like, "Yeah, you guys are just pulling our leg, like no chance." And then I was like, "Yeah, Coach D, you got it?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "All right, well, I guess I'll do the interview." And then, it was, so we were cold, but the funny thing is we had the ponchos on, and I took the poncho off, and I was like, "No free advertising." And Coach D was like, "I'm just going to wear the poncho." But, no, it was a fun experience. It was definitely cool to see, but it was just the weather was so bad. I'd like to see it when it's, not rainy and cold.
Yeah, I've done it. It's better in the summer. I'll say that. It's no doubt about it. It was just amazing. And to be honest, I mean, you played the part well. The look on Mark Dantonio's face and that poncho, it's just it was too good. Steven, man, I appreciate you coming on. I look forward to seeing you in Washington D.C. and we'll talk soon, man.
Yes, of course. And one last thing, I got a group of buddies of mine that want you guys to do a live show at some point. So hopefully it can be like next winter when I'm able to I'll take off work. I'll at least guarantee 5 people in get butts and chairs of my friends. So if we can, maybe we can work that out where you guys do a live show, and I'll get at least 5 people there.
Deal. We can make that happen. That sounds amazing. 5. Awesome. Yeah, the 5 people. The 5 people guarantee is a good start for us. We've had less. So no, I'm just kidding. But that is the fear. We appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Stephen Izzo.
You just do it at his house if you want.
We could,
you know.
Yeah.
Don't joke about that. We had less than 5 people. How dare you? Is Coach D? Is his no the new Coach Krzyzewski's? Coach, you gonna do this interview? No.
It would sound differently. No. More like my.
Yeah, it's not as nasally as Krzyzewski. Yeah. No. But yeah, I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't want to do that interview anyway if I was just a bystander. It's just terrible. It just sounds terrible.
There have been other, incidents of that in life where, celebrities or athletes get interviewed and the person interviewing them has no idea. It's just like a man on the street style thing.
Yeah.
And this was one of those, and that's what made it so great. Just to see Dantonio in a poncho looking like he wanted to be anywhere else but interviewed
with the wind
on
and
Buffalo
rain
TV.
Sideways.
Oh, it was absolutely.
What do you guys want to talk about?
Absolutely tremendous.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. No, he's
the best.
Yeah.
Stephen Izzo. He knows. Like, you know what I mean? Like someone getting at him saying, well, you're only there or a part of the program because you were Tom Izzo's son. Like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I got that.
But I still
well, he had to,
crushed a lot of tape and helped out with a ton of things.
100%. I mean, he had to earn his stripes. Now, he got his opportunity because of that.
Yeah.
But they did not think that he was going to last that first summer. He wanted to do it, and they thought, he might last a couple weeks because that conditioning stuff they put you through is no joke. And
that's where I'd lean on my dad and be like, "Hey, man, can I get out of that part?"
But then you don't get respected.
I understand. Well, yeah, that's why I wouldn't have done it.
And that stuff matters a ton more than anything. There are a few examples in my life where there was once I was like 19 years old, 20 years old, and came back to Lansing Community College, and I was at an open gym there. But it was like, of course, it was the team. It was always with the team, and they were just doing like for 45 minutes their conditioning work. I thought I was showing up to an open gym, but there was no basketball. So this is like showing up at Hickory High in 1952, and it's like we don't need a ball.
Yeah, if you don't see any basketball,
it's not good.
Yeah.
But I did the conditioning for 45 minutes, and even though those guys were all better than me, when you start to play, there's a respect they have for you. This guy just went through hell with us. Okay, cool.
He puked without crying.
Yeah, right. And when I ran with the MSU football team, did it with the Western football team at one point, when I did that week of conditioning with them, I guess it was just 2 days with MSU. But that particular team, one of the advantages of doing that, and I couldn't do it now without dying, but one is that whole year, there are certain guys who look at you different. They respect you differently. They know what they go through to a degree.
But that's in your mind. Like you're looking at them thinking that they're looking at you thinking something different.
I had conversations with the Darquez Denard and guys like that. They appreciated that.
They give you a fist bump?
There's a ton of respect. It goes. I thought I was going to die running up the Spartan Stadium steps. I mean, to this day, I can still hear Ken Manny's voice like 3 more, and I was like, oh God, man, die in my own vomit here, falling down concrete steps at Spartan Stadium. That's not going to be good for anybody. Anyway, but so when he did that, that initial experience, when you go through that and you do an entire summer with those guys, you may not be at their level, but they start to say, okay, he's in this, he's going through it with this, and I think that
showing up to the gym early and all that stuff.
Yeah, and he had a good experience, and I think it was. The one thing, and people talk about nepotism and all that stuff, and those conversations are around Denham and Doug Wojcik and all that. But the thing,
I wasn't going to say anything. You tied it back in.
Sorry,
poor Denham. You're going to leave him alone for one show, and I'm like, okay, absolutely. And then Couch has to tie it all in at the end. I knew a Denham Wojcik thing was coming back.
Denham was brought in to be a player, but one of the things Tom Izzo said is he didn't care that it was nepotism because he gave up a lot of hours with Stephen as a coach when Stephen was growing up, and this was getting that back. Yeah. And I think that's a fair trade-off. You know what I mean? This is a guy who, he didn't get to be home a lot because of that. And anyway, we've
I don't know if I believe you can just leave it though. If you're at home and you're just sitting there shooting the shit at the kitchen counter, and all of a sudden, You just try to separate the two. I don't think you can. But
Well, I think it helps. It probably did help him, though, that he wasn't on the court a ton.
Yeah.
Like, if you're the guy who turned the ball over on the last possession, then you've got to go home and have dinner.
Well, I'm sure Izzo would talk about practice, too, and all that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to a degree. Anyway, no, I always enjoyed chatting with Steven and love that he is a listener to our show. And the only person who's ever introduced our show to Tom Izzo himself, by the way, which was when I was talking about my colonoscopy. But whatever, that stuff happens from time to time.
And we'd have 5 people at a remote, so we got that going for us.
Yeah, no, we've never been quite that small.
He's going to take it off. He's going to take it off work.
I know. No, now we have to. Now we have to do it. We'll have to do it next winter.
All right.
All right. We're going to take a really quick break. We'll be right back. Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub in Cask and Company.
Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask and Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask and Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar. If you want to have a private party, be it for the NCAA tournament, for a work function, wedding, reception, or just have a room to yourself in peace and quiet where you can have a great meal, they have a private room now that you can reserve at Front 43 and Cask and Company. Just call and ask for the private room. They'll set you up. It's an amazing experience. Or just swing on by Cask and Company in Front 43 for the hockey, the basketball, whatever it might be, a date night. You are going to love the menu. My favorite thing on the menu to this, well, there are a few favorite things, but my go-to meal has become the Big Island Bowl, Big Island Sushi Bowl. It's just, it's absolutely incredible. I would urge anybody to try it and never steer anybody wrong when I've sent people to Cask and Company and Front 43.
One more thing with Stephen Izzo. He did mention that he said that this team is the best since he's been alive.
No, he said last year's team.
Last year's team.
Yeah.
Do you buy that? I mean, how old is he? 25?
So, no. Well, yes, about 25. So he was 12-ish when he was, not since he's been alive. No, I don't think. Because, I mean, there are different teams that have had different strengths, but he was around for the 2014 team. When they were at their best, he was around for. Now, Denzel Valentine's team that was great as a senior year had some weaknesses. That was not outside of him was not a perfect team. He was around for Draymond's final year, but that was a heavy Draymond-led team, just like this is a heavy Fears-led team. This may have more in certain places. He was around. He was a real young guy though in like 2009. But yeah, so it's a good question how he sees it as that though, and that's interesting. I do think if you put this version of Cooper and Kohler on last year's team, in terms of being able to hold up, maybe, and you threw in a Jordan Scott or something. I mean, obviously, if you added Miles Bridges and Mateen Cleaves to, it gets better. I shouldn't. Of course, that's how it works.
What 3 players from the 2000 team would you add to this team?
On Jack Ebling's show after this today. He asked a question. Ebling asked a question at Izzo's press conference the other day that was exactly like he was on air. It was, I felt all of Fred Human. It was this whole question, and he goes, and why did Iowa beat Florida? It was like a totally separate thing.
I did hear that.
It's very Ebling-esque. And it was like this two-parter to Izzo I think Izzo answered part of it, but it was...
Yeah, there was a lot of 3-part questions in that.
It was like, Izzo at one point was like...
interview,
Are you guys scared I'm leaving or something? Yeah, and I get that.
I would be annoyed as someone with terrible short-term memory, like, if you do that to me. Like, just do one at a time here. Just 4-part question here.
Sometimes the best thing to do is just hang on to the mic and say, I got one more, but here, and
hold
do
a grip. Don't let it go.
Yeah. They're not going to take it from you. It's not like an aggressive. They're not there to. It's a press conference.
Tom,
I
have a 7-parter. I got a 7-part question for you. Fucking God! Like, what do you got to talk about?
Yeah, it is rough. It is rough. They I don't think this team has grown into something very, very good, and a team that has a chance. And what's interesting is I wrote a column after they lost to Wisconsin, 92-71, back on February 13th, about how that team's limitations, they didn't profile as a championship team in Ken Palm, and that team's limitations were going to fall short. And they still might. But what's changed dramatically is one of the things I referenced was the offensive efficiency back then. They were 45th in the country in offensive efficiency on February 13th. And no team outside of the 2014 UConn team, Shabazz Napier, has ever been outside the top 22 in offense and defensive efficiency and won a national title. Well, Michigan State today is number 22. They have gone up 23 spots in the 9 games since that.
Thank you, Denim Wojcik.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying they've improved a lot on the offensive. Their defense, some people could say, has slipped a little bit. I think the last 2 games they did a much better job at the 3-point arc. But they have had to grow in certain spots. I think the original UConn game was a big start of that. It was a slap in the face. It was a realization. I mean, they didn't know how good they were back then, but it happened before the season. So when Arkansas happened, they had some conversations. They knew some things had to be different. Cohen Carr knew some things had to be different. And there are some things we're seeing now in this. And then you hit the February swoon, which is like a rite of passage for all these, even the great Izzo teams. And they had to find a jolt, find some, become something more, and they kind of have. We talk about Cohen Carr and sort of the fits and starts and inconsistencies of his game sometimes, but he's had, I think, 16 or more points in 6 of the last 10 games. Like, he's been a pretty consistent offensive force for a while.
It'll be a cold day in hell before I give up on Cohen Carr.
Cohen, in the last 9 games since that February swoon ended, Cohen Carr, Jackson Kohler, and Carson Cooper have each had at least had 2 20-point games. So they're getting it something from different guys, but from somewhere, and it's happening. I mean, these guys are all playing their best basketball at the right time, which will mean something to a degree. We'll see what it looks like against UConn.
What do you think the main difference is with Cohen Carr, though? What has he changed to make him more of an efficient guy, at least on the offensive end?
To him, for me, it's about mindset to him, because he's not this naturally fluid wing with the ball in his hands. But when he decides, screw it, that doesn't matter, I'm going to attack, it works because he's a physical presence and he's such a great athlete. And I think what you saw the other day, when he gets going on the glass, it changes. Like, that's when everything starts to go for him. And hitting threes matters. But that last game, he goes 2 for 4 for 3, and he has 21 points. If he had 15 points and 10 rebounds, it still would have been a really, really great game. So, Brandon Dawson, some of his best games were around that stat line in 2015 when they were making that run. And he was never going to hit a 3-point shot. Now, they're different players, and in the ability to occasionally hit a 3 and make somebody pay for not guarding you is something that helps. I mean, I think this Michigan State team's in the last – I looked at the last 9 games since that February swoon, which now I think we should just start counting on every year since it happens.
Can we call it something else besides swoon?
Yeah, we can figure out a name.
Yeah.
But either way, they should just let us know when it's coming. We check out. We come back like 4 games later. Okay, here it goes. But they're shooting collectively in the 9 games since 42% from 3-point land, and like they've been a really good efficient team. And Fears has played really well, and
he's a bull in a china closet.
they've got a chance. Now, I think the odds are right. Like Duke is still the favorite to come out of the region. Like if you look at the odds right now, it's like Duke is like plus 150. Everybody else is like plus 400 or beyond. And that's probably correct. It's just that they have as good, and I think Duke is probably a little short there because we just seen them be vulnerable, and we don't know when they're a little shorthanded what they actually are. But with everybody else, I mean, if you told me UConn wins the region, I'd believe you. If you told me Michigan State wins the region, I'd believe you. If you told me St. John's wins it's not like there's anybody there you go that can't do it. I think Michigan State has as good a chance as maybe everybody except slightly less than Duke if Duke is Duke to get through it. But I think the fact they played all these guys really helps. I think if they play UConn and Duke again, I think it matters. I think it'll help Michigan if they have to play Duke again because those sort of games let you know where you are and what you need to do.
But certainly there's not a scary kind of team out there. Like we usually have one team that's kind of, I guess Duke, if they were fully healthy, would they be scary? Michigan, I guess. Are we forgetting about Michigan?
No, Michigan, no, they're just not.
Michigan's still scary.
Different bracket.
I understand
Arizona too.
I'm saying winning it all though.
Yeah, I think Arizona and like I don't think being in Duke's bracket is a disadvantage. And if anything, they're beat up. I think you'd rather be in Duke's bracket in some ways than Arizona or Michigan's if you're Michigan State. The addition of the UConn component is what makes the bracket tough. Is that you have to also play UConn instead of Texas or somebody else who's in some other. It would be an easier path to the Final 8, but not an easier path to the Final 4 once you got there. And to me, having to slay somebody like UConn, a team, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, what Michigan State should have to win this game to get where it wants to go. So yeah, I don't think it's all that. You know what's interesting right now, too, is sort of pivoting a little bit to a couple other things. Mm-hmm. The North Carolina job comes open. The team Michigan State beat this year. Kansas job might come open with Bill Self. We'll see.
That was just that was fake, though.
No,
talking about the retirement rumor that.
No, but he's basically saying his health's got to be good. Right? He's not saying he's retiring.
If his health is any good as the color of his hair, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So
there's no gray hair whatsoever.
Even if it's just North Carolina. Something that's been a fascinating thing online the last couple of days is, and really yesterday since the Hubert Davis news, is, well, who gets the North Carolina gig and the ripple effect and sort of the fear of fan bases when people start bringing up, the names of the Florida coach, the Arizona coach, Dusty May at Michigan, all this stuff. And what's hilarious is, the North Carolina fans think they can have all of them, and if you're one of those teams, you think there's no chance. Like even the Bulls fans, protective of Billy Donovan, the fans all say they're not going anywhere. They're happy here. Their wife loves this. There's no chance.
Brad Stevens already said no.
He did say no.
No interest.
But fans don't know. Nobody knows. You're just emphatically asserting something you hope is the case. But it is hilarious. Even like some fan media levels, like no. I mean, I think it really is a good test of whether somebody can be objective when these sort of things happen. Because, I think Dusty May has a great job. I think he very well may stay. The Michigan job in modern times may be better than North Carolina job, depending on the resources and whatever, and certainly your expectations. You can get away with a losing season at Michigan basketball easier than you can at North Carolina. And it may be, but nobody knows that he thinks that way. Nobody knows that he hasn't at some point be the head coach at North Carolina. Like, nobody knows that about, any of these coaches. And, I mean, that's a really big, famous job that could lure a lot of coaches, including if North Carolina came open and Tom Izzo was 20 years younger, that name would come up. Everybody's name. Now, do I think Izzo would leave for another college job? I think at one point it was much more likely the NBA. But even, Kentucky went after Danny Hurley, and I think there was a little bit of flirtation there for a minute. I don't know how serious. This is the last time. So,
but North Carolina, are they going to offer big money to their coach, right?
Yes, they'll have to.
Okay.
And
so it is a top 5 job in college.
Oh, 100%. It's the prestige. Well, what you have to find out is what is your resources and the money in terms of what you're going to have in terms of rev share, NIL, and the operation there to create NIL. Because that really does matter in this day and age. There are some places that used to be great jobs that aren't as good. But North Carolina, it's North Carolina. And not only that, I understand Davis got them to a national championship game, but they struggled. You're not following Dean Smith himself. You're not following Roy Williams. You're not following immediately great success. That's what makes what John Shire's done at Duke so incredible. And granted, incredible resources. But he's been really good in
But
following.
you still have to get the players in and coach the players.
And coach them
obviously.
in difficult situations.
Right.
And absolutely, and be a great game coach. And that's
Do you think if you're North Carolina that you want or you have to have someone with Carolina roots?
Not anymore.
Someone from
No,
right,
no.
that's what I mean.
There's
I feel like
nobody
you
out
would go
there left.
out there
Yeah.
and maybe grab another guy from nowhere that has no roots or connection to your
You do-
university whatsoever.
That's why Syracuse got Jerry McNamara, because like they wanted in roots because they don't have the NIL and the money right now, so they need to do the
And
in-house thing.
McNamara did prove himself at Siena. Like,
Yeah,
he has some things there that he's proven. It isn't just bringing in McNamara because he's a Syracuse.
Correct, but if this was 1996 Syracuse, they could have had almost anybody in the country, because that was a different program in the way it was thought of. So anyway, it'll be very interesting to see what happens here, and nothing would surprise me. It's North
What
Carolina.
about Freddie Hoiberg, though? I'm not maybe not for North Carolina, but is there a possibility of what he's done at Nebraska, and if he wins and beats Iowa?
It took too long, and he could have been fired like 4 or 5 times in Nebraska, and some people would argue he should have. So for him, my guess is he is going to stay put. He probably now has he's probably got a safe gig at this point. It's a good job there. It's such a good job because it's and again, I
But
don't
he's
know.
proven it in this NIL era, though, that he can take a team like Nebraska who's never won
And he
in the history of the earth. They've never won an NCAA basketball game, and they did that.
It's a great low pressure fan base too. Well, yeah, but Chris Collins did that at Northwestern, and then it fell apart for a long time. And then he had to do it again. I'm always curious what do you do next year? I think Chris Collins is a fine coach. I think Northwestern's a very difficult place to win. I think there were some things that went against him after they made that run in 2017. It was, including that they were remaking Welsh Ryan Arena after that, so they had to play out at All-State. They lost their home court edge free. It was a weird year, and the year after that, but he still did recruiting and other things, did not capitalize on that moment. And this is pre-NIL, right? And so you do want to see how somebody that it's not just a moment. Nobody thinks Fred Hoiberg's not a good coach. He did it at Iowa State. He was a really good coach. People know he can be a very good coach, but I wouldn't think he would be one of the names they were really after. But a guy like Dusty May is going to, and I'm not saying he won't spend 20 years at Michigan. I don't know that he's a lifer, but again, his success to this point, his lack of roots at Michigan, his age, he is going to come up in the prime jobs that come open. His name's going to come up. People have to deal with that. And most of the people saying he's not going anywhere, his wife's happy, his Michigan's got everything he wants here. It's the biggest program. It's not. It's not North Carolina. And so you just never know.
You say that excuse sometimes, like, "Wow, his kids are in school. You'd have to get the kids out of school." Like,
Do I? When have I ever used that
said that
excuse?
about Michigan State football coaches? Like, what about the kids? And you got to take kids and uproot them. And blah, fucking blah.
Well, I'm a hypocrite. We know that. That's why we're doing this show together.
I know. Just show the kids your bank account. And go, "We're going to move. Okay, is that good with you? All right, cool."
Before we're going to do some college. Some betting here, some college basketball picks, and we got to figure out what
I need some help.
Before we do that, real quick though, I want to get into Michigan State hockey. Begins Thursday. Another thing you can watch at Front 43 in Cask and Company. 1:30 game. Sit down, watch Michigan State hockey in Worcester, Massachusetts, and they're playing UConn as well, which is kind of weird. But I just
UConn has a hockey team.
They do.
I guess
They do.
so. All right, it makes sense.
I just hate this single elimination stuff, and I know that. Look, you have to get through it. And what part of the reason I didn't rewrite the column now is I felt it was more effective 2 years ago. And I wrote a good column, and I just reshared it. And more people are writing a similar thing. It was more effective when Michigan State hadn't just lost in the first. Now it looks a little bit like some guy is covering the team is like, these single elimination things suck. After 2 years ago, that this hadn't been an issue for them, right? They actually won a game in that tournament, and I wrote it, I think, going into that tournament. And it's just it is hockey. Like Solari and I argue about this a little bit to some degree, and I know college basketball, same deal, single elimination.
Graham.
But if you were playing hockey games that had 150 goals in them, or whatever, like you have 150 points in a basketball game, totally different deal. You've got 3 to 5 to 6 goals a game, and it's a one bounce here, it's this, it's that. It's just it should not be something you spend 10 months working for. That comes down to single elimination, not at least till you get to a Frozen Four and it's an event and you've done something. Not at this round when you've worked this hard for it. And, people say, well, the small coaches don't want this. Well, let's screw what the small coaches want. If you want a legitimate national champion in hockey, you play a series at the beginning. And if you want to do it financially so it works in front of decent crowds, you do it at home sites, and you get to earn that. And you play 2 out of 3 on campus sites this week, 2 out of 3 on campus sites next week. Instead of taking a week off, it's fixed it for you. Anything else is really just bullshit. And it's, there's a lack of respect for the sport, period, at the college level. I don't even know why the NCAA sponsors it if they don't care. But if you want to have legitimate champions, that's something you should do. And I'm not saying you can still upset a team 2 out of 3. It's not impossible in hockey. And if you do that, more power to you. That's great. You've had your chance. You earned.
Yeah, you could get a hot goalie or something or 2.
Absolutely, you earned a home. You earned a home series. You didn't win it. That's on you. But one single game, I'm not saying you shouldn't celebrate when you win a title because it is the championship as they do it. But man, it's a lot less legit than it would be if they did it. They did it the right way.
But I read your column, and I don't follow college hockey as much. But I know that we've had this conversation on this podcast for multiple years. I've heard about changes need to be made, but I just don't. When will the changes? I mean, what's the step in the right direction? It's the fact that it doesn't make enough money is the reason why the NCAA is neglecting it. Right?
Well, and
if their money were there, people would be trying to do. They would. And they have meetings right now.
And there are a couple components here. The stadium, Van Andel Arena, people could bid to host it at like Van Andel or something. It could be in Michigan. It could be a lot closer for some teams. But the other, and so that's on the schools. But also, it would not cost a lot if you're looking. The reason I say, the home site, it's not just 2 out of 3 at a neutral site, is the finances of it. Like if you're going to play an extra week of this. But one team of the 2 teams that's there isn't traveling. And you could do it where one, the problem is if Michigan State hosted the region because they were the number 1 seed in their region and all of a sudden Wisconsin and, you get all 4 schools there, that's fine. But the problem with that is a lot of people don't have the facility in their home facility to host 4 schools at once as well. It becomes a facility issue to some degree, some places. But if you do one more weekend, you play during the Final Four, again, different audiences. They play during the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, which is a massive audience and actually more games and more conflicts with the women's tournament going on as well. If you play the 2 weekends and you do it, this weekend Michigan State just got UConn at home, best out of 3. Next weekend they're home probably against Wisconsin. We'll see Dartmouth, whatever. But that would be a way of one team not traveling at all. You're talking about saving money, and you'd have built-in. It's just easier. It's just not that much more expensive. And I get there's pushback on it, but it's illogical pushback. It's not intelligent pushback. So that's what that is.
But is it money based behind the pushback? That's what I mean. It's like, well, we'd love to do what you're saying, but it doesn't make us any money, and it would take a lot of effort. Therefore, I mean, it's like getting the games on locally around here. Sometimes it's just
there are TV components to this. Like, how can you get 3 games on TV? And all that sort of stuff. I mean, right now, Michigan
State. How can you not in 2026 though?
That's the thing. Do we really need?
You can shoot things with your iPhone. There's apps everywhere.
Half the games are like ESPN News anyway at 1:30 on a Thursday. Who the hell? Come on, we can. We'll get out there with a camera and we'll stream it, and everybody can see the damn thing. We don't need Buchagras, doing the. Although I
do it.
I do like Kevin Gale, who's former WLNS sports guy, who's doing the Michigan State game. Yeah, Kevin Gale's great. So,
cool.
All right. Do we want to? You want to do some picks here?
I need some help, dude.
Okay. So what is your situation? Is the with your picks?
Well, I thought we were taking a break.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Give me a second.
We'll take a really quick break. Couch in the Rube, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company.
Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a muskox flannel by ordering at gomuskox.com, where Couch and the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. If you're looking for a relaxed vibe, great food, and an outstanding beer selection, Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing is your place. Enjoy their famed chicken and waffle fries, fish and chips, or any of their delicious burgers or salads. Midtown Brewing Company also offers 40-plus beers on tap, including ciders and seasonal offerings and daily happy hour specials. The spacious and cozy vibe makes Midtown Brewing Company a perfect place for a beer with a friend, a work lunch, or to watch the games on its big screen TVs. If you'd rather eat at home, Midtown Brewing Company offers a terrific carryout menu and free delivery on orders of $20 or more. Visit MidtownBrewingCompany.net or stop by 402 South Washington in downtown Lansing for the Midtown Brewing Company experience.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch and the Rube, our Wednesday show, presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar. I feel like Jim Nantz right now just reading that.
If that doesn't make you rock hard hearing that, am I right? Give your tie to somebody?
Oh, man.
God damn.
All right, we got to talk through what we're gonna.
I thought you were gonna do your Jim Nantz thing. I thought you were doing a whole bit.
Okay. I don't really have a bit.
Have you done well with picks so far? Who's leading our bracket? Do we know anything?
I need. Give me some Hoff. Sorry, we'll pivot. Or this way.
Come on. Let's go green. Oh, God.
I'm not talking about this.
No.
That's crazy.
Really good penis. All right. I meant to do this earlier. I apologize for not. The overall standings right now in the men's pick'em, Andy Welch leads right now, along with Matt Beal, just ahead of Joe T, Mike Engel, and Austin Rivette. So those are the
still early, but congratulations.
Still very, very, very early. Let me hold on.
What's yours ranked at?
I'm a little ways down. I'm at the middle. Hold on. Where is I? I'm like 140, I think, or something out of 360. Not bad. I still have my champion.
140?
Yeah. We have like 360 people in it. The women's bracket, the leaders are, make sure I got this right here.
What a podcast.
Yeah, this is not. Hold on. Let me. This is the worst. I picked up the wrong thing. Sorry. Like sweet the national championships on. Oh, I can't wait for this. It just happens. I just broke my. Yeah, the women's. This is not good. I am 38th out of 175, I think, or something like that. Anyway, the leader is Thomas Drunkowski, Gavin Crawford, Lucas Knox, and
just read them all.
Yeah, we'll just go all.
Read the top 100.
Yeah. But I will say, Eric Larson has UCLA. I have UCLA too, and I think if you have UCLA, that gives you a little chance. The first person without UCLA or UConn is Ryan Speak with South Carolina at 21. So that's a good way to play it. To have one of those, and not have one of those two, like that really helps you win it. I've done all right. The Florida losing to Iowa screwed me up a little bit, so screwed me up quite a bit. I had them tied into 64-75 parlays, something like that. So, what are you going to do? Everybody else is happy. You're not. Where are you struggling?
I have a 3-leg parlay, but I don't like many games on Thursday. I don't want to give you my parlay. I just want to talk to you about Thursday's games and if there's anything that you like out of those 4 Thursday games. Because Texas, Purdue, bleh. Iowa, Nebraska, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are these
and
games?
I like Arkansas, too, to give Arizona fits. Like 7.5 seems right, that line
Out
there.
of the 4, that is the one I picked, Arkansas plus 7 and a hook.
To me, it's Illinois plus 3. I think Illinois' style will bother Houston.
Even though that's in Houston?
Yes.
It's like a home game for them.
Yeah, but Houston doesn't have Houston's not like a big state school. Illinois fans will travel.
All right, so you like Illinois. Okay.
I like Illinois +3 in that game. That is, I think it's a
to
really
win outright? Money line? Mm-hmm.
You might sprinkle a little bit. Like +3 is pretty close to that. I just like having. I just feel like it's going to be a really close game. I've seen Brad Underwood lose close games.
Yeah.
So I would like to have the 3 points. To be honest.
Smart.
That's probably where I'm going.
So
with that.
no Iowa, Nebraska, no Big Ten.
I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, who
Nebraska -1.5? What kind of sicko do you have to be? The total 131.5.
Yeah.
Lord.
By the way, we are doing a Friday show, so we'll talk to you again before the Friday games. We are going to do a Friday morning show with me in DC. So it'll be, it won't be a huge amount of turnaround to download the podcast, but it'll be live on YouTube and then up by like noon.
Couch always worries about that. By the
I do.
way.
We got 10 hours. Yeah. Turnaround. Yeah.
Because if it doesn't go right directly to your phone, like phone or
we'll do some
whatever
groovy
device.
Some groovy donut Twitter questions. If there's, I like throwing Michigan on the money line here in parlays is probably where I'm at, but I don't know. Because that's the one game I feel good about. Duke, I don't feel great about. I just don't trust them. And St. John's is, weirdly good sometimes. Iowa State, I want to trust against Tennessee, but I don't for some reason. I don't know. It's
my second
Iowa State
leg of the parlay is St. John's. I'm taking those points, which is
okay.
It's ruined me everywhere else. Like I've taken points and unders and. Because if you look at the sharp money, where the sharp money's coming in, everybody has sharp money going at taking the unders on pretty much every one of these games.
Yeah.
So that's my 2-leg. I have Arkansas +7.5, St. John's +6.5, and I'm taking the under 148.5 against Texas Purdue. So I guess that's another Thursday game. I just feel like that game is going to be ass for some reason.
There are a couple things. Talk about regions. Like people aren't going to do this because they're all Michigan State fans here, but UConn +375. To come out of the East region is not a horrible price right now. It's just not. If you Iowa State +245 in the Midwest region, and then I kind of like what am I missing here? Arkansas, like Arizona's really good, and Arkansas is definitely the third team here, but Arkansas is capable, and they're +675. Of coming out of the West region.
It's because of Darius Acuff Jr. Everybody's hyping him up, and he's #1 pick possibly.
So I
feel like you're getting a certain amount of points and him. You get the best player apparently in college basketball.
I think the other decent odds are to reach the championship game, where you just got to win one of the elite. You start to get Arizona +125, Michigan +150. Not Duke +150. If you like any of those teams, you get to this point in the tournament, it gets hard. It's really, really hard.
Just fade UConn, Michigan State. Just enjoy it.
100%.
For Michigan State, right? There's no is there value on Michigan State?
At +2, I mean,
as far as
in terms of getting through the region,
what's the money line here? I mean, +110. I'm just talking about against UConn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at UConn here.
It's not a bad. I wouldn't. I think it's a pick'em game. We just have no idea, and so that's
that's our gambling expertise.
There you go. We do have Norm's golf bets, which Jason just shared, and we've retweeted from the show account. So that's this week.
The Houston Open, the Children's, whatever, the Miracle Network, whatever the fuck
it's going on while Houston's playing in the in Houston and
Houston Open.
A lot of stuff going on in Houston. Good luck finding a hotel room in Houston this week.
Am I right?
Opening day down there, I think, too. Also on Monday and all that stuff. So you can seek those out. We'll be back on Friday.
We're done.
Oh, you got more? Yeah.
No, that's it.
Yeah. We'll be back on Friday morning, and from DC, and we'll answer your groovy donut Twitter questions at that point, and we'll have some more bets at that point. We'll figure it out, but no, we won't. I mean, this is a really hard.
I feel like I'm out after this.
I'm not gonna. Yeah. I mean,
college basketball's kicked my dick in. I can't do this anymore.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
We appreciate our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar. If you're looking for a place to watch the games, highly, highly recommend that experience. Go to caskandcompany.com if you'd like to make a reservation. I always recommend that too, especially peak hours toward the weekend and things of that nature. We'll be back Friday, as we mentioned. And good show, man. Thanks to Stephen Izzo. Couch of the Rube.